backcourt crunch is over. Paulo is playing to race. Ferry comes down. Nakamura's at 8 now.
Upkeep, he's going to tap him out. Activates his Mutavault, make sure he can activate his other Mutavault should something go wrong.
So Mistbind Click needs a Fairy to champion. Mutavault, it appears to be the case, and Shuhei scoops it up. Wow. Paulo, Vitor Damo de Rosa sends us to Game 5. 2 games apiece. Boy, he's just playing so well. I feel like every little decision, there's all these little subtle decisions, and you just look back half a dozen turns later, and Paulo has navigated the game down a path that he knows is going to lead to victory. Shuhei looking back to his sideboard, it's kind of interesting. I mean, so Shuhei, it seems like Shuhei's been running his stock Fairy sideboard plan, right?
Right.
You know, I'm going to bring in Bitter Blossoms, this is what I'm going to do. But at this point, I think he now understands how Paulo has built his deck, right?
Right.
It's not, you know, maybe sometimes it's hard to deduce from a sideboard list how somebody views the matchup.
Both players are going into the tank here.
Yeah, it's true. Meanwhile, on the back table, Jan Roos now leads Makihito Mahara 2 games to 1. Quick start, Cryptic Command for the Sower of Temptation, and that's that. Jan Roos takes a 2-1 lead on Mahara. So Roos was happy with the Rebel Arc matchup, felt like it was a good matchup for him, and he's up 2-1.
The only player we heard all weekend.
The only player who wanted Rebel Arc, much less in the top 8, yeah. I like the way Paulo's got this deck configured after sideboarding.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the really fascinating things about the Fairy deck. It's just the way you can sort of tweak the dial from beat down to control.
It's got a bunch of different angles. It can play. You can race with it. You can play control with it. You can play tempo with it. And depending on the matchup, I mean, that's the real subtle thing that I think is the difference between a good Fairy pilot and a great one, is to understand, based on the matchup and based on even the draw, exactly, you know, who's the beatdown, right? What's my role in this match? Given this draw, given this opponent, given this matchup. I think Paulo has nailed it. Razor Main Mastercore and Damnation, that's just a different Fairy deck than Shuhei is used to playing against even.
And he more or less said that last night. He said that he was advantaged here. But again, this would be Shuhei has not taken a loss to Fairy.
Yeah, he's got to break serve. We've actually had the player going first win all 4 games so far. I mean, I don't think that's the reason, but
yeah.
Shuhei does have the advantage of going first in Game 5. 1 game to find out who goes to the semis.
And this is just all business too with these guys. That's what I really like. I mean, we don't see a ton of table talk in these top 8 matches, but they're both just kind of going about the business, making sure their decks are shuffled, going through. You saw before Paulo's again shuffling his entire sideboard in each game, pulling it out, and they're just crisp and clean.
It's funny. There's a certain level of respect here too. I see, over the years when top Japanese pros are playing each other, they're sort of more quick, business-like, and when they're playing somebody that maybe they don't think is necessarily at the top of the game, they'll do a little mental games, they'll play games with tempo, they'll slow it down a little bit. And here it's like Shuhei had given Paulo the respect of, you're one of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
these guys know they are among the elite in the game.
These guys see each other all over the world. They go to the Invitational together. They go to Grand Prix together. Not traveling at the same time, but they see each other. Sure. Everyone's formed these, friendships and respect for the top players. Have a real respect.
Absolutely true. All right. 1 game, potential, really legacy-defining moment for these guys. One of these guys to win this game, it's one thing to, okay, fine, another top 8 on the resume is nice, but to go deep and potentially win a Pro Tour, that's why these guys play.
And both of these guys have to be thinking that if they can get through this match.
Yes, absolutely.
That this might be their event.
So Nakamura leads with a Llanowar Elf. He's got a Mutavault and a Pain Land. Here comes the Vanquisher and another Llanowar Elf. Blisteringly fast start for Nakamura. 5 power out there after just 2 turns, plus a Mutavault. DeRosa reveals. Oh, there's Bitter Blossom.
There's
Garrick on turn 3. And a Bitter Blossom. Untaps 2 lands with Garrick. Plays the Bitter Blossom. Ridiculous. Does Shuhei even have any cards left in his hand?
yes.
7 cards into play already. What a draw from Shuhei Nakamura.
A legacy-defining draw, perhaps.
We'll see if Paolo, I've seen Paolo stabilize from seemingly lost positions, but what does he do about Garrick and a Horde of Elves and a Bitter Blossom all at the same time? That's 3 different threats he has to answer.
Garrick and Bitter Blossom living together?
Yeah, they don't seem like they should be friends. I mean, it's funny. We talked about how Paolo has turned his deck into answers, but there's 3 different questions on the table now.
Right.
And now you've got to figure out what's the right answer for each one. Okay, Mutavault goes in to attack Garrick. 2 counters to Thrive. I mean, threats versus answers. I mean, over the years, Magic has proven threats have the edge. I mean, in general, there are no wrong threats. It is harder to answer than it is to threaten.
Sure, I mean, you see, even a Major Saloon can be a threat.
Yeah.
In the right situation. Yeah, here's an
And
imperial.
a perfect. Wow. Untaps a couple lands.
And attacks with a 3/3 Mutavault.
Oh,
4 perfect. And 2/2/2 elves.
crazy.
I'm sorry, a 4/4 Vanquisher.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 11 power attacking. Paolo needs to untap in Damnation, right? That's basically his.
And
I mean, that'll answer the creature threat for like 14 power, 13 power worth of, 14 power worth of creatures that's in play. Oh, and then he'll still have to figure out a way to deal with Bitter Blossom and Garrick.
fortunately, he's got the Despotic Spectre in his deck.
One token? You play Blossom?
I mean, I guess Paolo's Blossom deals with the Blossom, sort of.
Not one of those flyers.
Okay.
4/4. What do you do here? Do you just absorb 4 from the... Yep.
Yeah. Crunch the bank. Jump block Vanquisher. Take damage.
Activate Force Field on Vanquisher.
Yep. Now what? Can Paolo stabilize? He's got 8 points of life left to play with. He's facing down Vanquisher, Llanowar, perfect, a Fairy Token, a Bitter Blossom, and Garrick.
Red Cap.
Red Cap takes out the perfect. Red Cap will be able to block here. So Paolo's got a Red Cap and a Fairy
Take out an
Token.
elf or a token.
He's got 8 points of life left to play with. 7 points because of the Bitter Blossom.
Pendlehaven.
Now there's Pendlehaven. Very relevant land here for Shuhei.
Still sending in Mutavault. Or not.
Yeah, Shuhei is lining up an attack here. He's got his opponent on 7. It's game 5. 1 game to go to the semis. Vanquisher, Mutavault, Llanowar Elf, and a Fairy Token available as potential attackers for Shuhei Nakamura. He's got a Pendlehaven to help with one of his 1/1s. Do you Pendlehaven, Garrick to untap, and have Pendlehaven again? Is that relevant here? All kinds of action for Shuhei.
That actually seems pretty good to me.
You can have Mutavault tap to activate itself just to be clever. I don't think he's going to want to make a 3/3 this turn, right? I don't think.
No. With a full-size Garrick looming in the background behind Paolo. He's not activating.
No, it doesn't look like it. All right, looks like Elf, Fairy Token, Vanquisher head into the red zone.